From Studio 18 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this is In Studio with Susan Minuk.
My next guest is a Jewish educator and motivational speaker who mixes Torah wisdom and Jewish learning with her own warmth, passion, and charm. Please welcome Rina Deutsch. Hi Rina, it's so nice to see you again.
Thank you so much for having me back, Susan. I'm really excited to be here.
You've just come back from your 8th Momentum trip to Israel. Please tell our viewers what Momentum is, and I would love to hear some of the highlights.
Absolutely. Momentum is an unbelievable 8-day trip to Israel for mothers who want to get a little bit more in touch with their Jewish heritage. It's 8 days in Israel. It's highly subsidized. Really, the women are only responsible to cover their own airfare, and everything on the ground is taken care of. There's learning every day, there's touring every day, there's connecting with other moms every day, but that 8-day trip is really just the beginning of what we call a year of growth, and really something that I think is a lifelong journey for everybody who comes. The highlight for me, honestly, has to be the women that I go with. The truth is thank God I'm so blessed. I've been to Israel a number of times. Like you said, I've been on this trip 8 times already, and it's not, been there, done that, because Israel's so exciting and special every time, no matter what, but experiencing it with a different group of women every time, getting their perspective on things, being able to share in that kind of way, that is absolutely the highlight for me.
Now, Momentum dovetails nicely with your passion to educate and lead other women back home here in Toronto. How do you think these trips to Israel have served you as a leader and educator?
That is an amazing question. The truth is for me, Momentum presented Jewish leadership and education in a completely and totally different light than I had ever seen it before. It took these incredible, inspired, dynamic women and put them in a role that we're, I think, used to seeing men in, right? The people up on the stage, the ones who are out front and the big stars, usually those are men. And I saw women doing it, and it was revolutionary for me. And they weren't just being meek and quiet, and I'm not suggesting that that's what Jewish women, generally speaking, do, but this was totally showcased for me, the idea that you could be yourself, you could be dynamic, you could be fun, you could be funny, you could be all sorts of different things and be a true Jewish woman leader and educator. It was incredible.
Now, let me ask you this. As you've met and traveled through Israel with Jewish women from all over the globe, what has been your biggest revelation?
The biggest revelation for me has to be how truly similar we really all are. I think so often in life, partially because as human beings, this is what we do. We try to categorize things, and we come up with all these things that are different about us and why you're like this and I'm like that. But it's amazing what happens when you're willing to sit down and have a conversation with someone that you think is so different from you. And then you find out that, yeah, you might do things a little bit differently. You might have a few different thoughts, but at the core, we have so much in common, and there's so many possibilities to bridge those gaps and to bring people together. It's amazing.
Do you want to suggest some of those thoughts of ways that they can come together, be bridged together?
Well, oh gosh. I think that, Jewish tradition manifests differently in different communities, and there are all sorts of things that, everybody does differently, but there's so much that we do that's the same. When we come together on Friday night and light candles all together, and we take the opportunity to say that Friday night candlelighting is a really special time to pray for your kids and your family and your loved ones. When we do that all together, we see that we're all moms, and we all have the same cares and concerns in the world. And okay, so this person lights her Friday night candles every single week, and this person doesn't, and they say it like this or do it like that. But at the end of the day, when we're able to come together on something like that, we see our shared humanity, we see our shared love and care and concern for really all the same things, and it helps us connect on such a deep level. It's so beautiful.
Rina, times are changing, but still it can be very difficult for a young woman to jump into leadership roles in the Jewish world. Why is it so crucial to have young, strong Jewish women as leaders?
So I think that Jewish women have been underestimated for a really long time, and it's unfortunate because that's not where we actually come from. Jewish women in all of history, we have made some of the biggest power moves to help steer the Jewish people through Jewish history. And we're told in the Talmud, it says that the Jewish people were redeemed from Egypt because of the women, and that the future redemption is going to come from the women as well. So I think that it's time for us to really step into our power, and it is ours. So the guys have their place too. They're doing awesome things, 100%. And really, we're supposed to be working as a team, but we haven't stepped into our team role as much as we should yet, and that's what's going to get us where we got to go.
Rina, who are your role models and heroes in the Jewish world?
So thinking about this question actually really got me to go to a very deep place. It's so hard for me to pick just one person or even big people. I think that actually for me, anyone who's out there trying to live a Jewish life, that's a hero.
So how can viewers find you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram. My handle is @Rina Deutsch. You can find me on Facebook, same story. And that's pretty much where you can catch me, and here on CJTV.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Rina, for being here and for sharing all this wonderful information. It was lovely to see you.
Thank you so much for having me, Susan.
You're watching In Studio with Susan Minuk.